Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
নমস্কার, আপনাদের সঙ্গে আমি পার্থ বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়। আপনারা দেখছেন নিউজ টাইম। আর আজ আমি আপনাদের সামনে পরিবেশন করতে চলেছি একটি অত্যন্ত আকর্ষণীয় কাহিনী। ভারতবর্ষের যে সম্পদের প্রতি অনেক সময় আমরা আগ্রহ হয়তো সেভাবে দেখাই না, সেই সম্পদ কিন্তু পৃথিবীর বিভিন্ন প্রান্তে পৌঁছে সেখানকার মানুষকে আকৃষ্ট করেছে। কৃষ্ণ নাম নিয়ে এবং ভারতের অদ্বৈতবাদ নিয়ে বহু মানুষ, একাধিক কৃতি সন্তান যারা সমুদ্র পেরিয়ে পাশ্চাত্যে প্রচারে গিয়েছেন এবং খুব আশ্চর্যজনকভাবে এদের বেশিরভাগই, হয়তো আমার যতটুকু জানা আছে প্রায় প্রত্যেকেই বাঙালি, কিন্তু তাদের কাছ থেকে এই অদ্বৈতবাদের সন্ধান পেয়ে আকৃষ্ট হয়েছেন পশ্চিমের বহু গুণী মানুষ। সবথেকে আকর্ষণীয় হলো এই তালিকায় মোটামুটিভাবে যাকে আমরা শেষের দিকে পাচ্ছি, শ্রীল প্রভুপাদ, যিনি ইস্কন মন্দিরের প্রতিষ্ঠাতা, ইস্কন আন্দোলনের প্রতিষ্ঠাতা, ইন্টারন্যাশনাল সোসাইটি ফর অন কৃষ্ণা কনসাসনেস, এই ইস্কনের যিনি প্রতিষ্ঠাতা শ্রীল প্রভুপাদ, তার নামে, তার বক্তব্যে আকৃষ্ট হয়ে আমেরিকার সব থেকে আইকনিক যে পরিবারগুলি রয়েছে তাদের কেউ কীভাবে আকৃষ্ট হয়েছিলেন কৃষ্ণ নামে, আজ আপনাদের সেই গল্প শোনাবো সেই মানুষটির মুখে। Please allow us to introduce to you Mr. Alfred Ford, and we are going to tell you through him the story how Indian spirituality attracted one of the most iconic American families. Mr. Ford, welcome on this time. I would first like to know how you got involved with the movement on Krishna consciousness.
Okay. I came of age in the 1960s in America, so there was a lot of revolution and questioning. The young people were questioning and questioning the values of their parents. So, there was a great interest also in India and Eastern spirituality. So I took a great interest in that, and when I was in college, I studied different systems of religion and spiritual life, but I never really found what I was looking for. And then after college, I had a friend who became a Hare Krishna, and he sent me books, and I started reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and offered prasadam, and became a vegetarian, and from there I became a follower, just from reading his books.
Achha, primarily you got informed of this, or you got involved in this through his books?
Yes.
Not personally him?
No, not till later. Yeah, not till later. No, I read his books, just the paperbacks, and from what I read, I could tell that this was what I was looking for, because I wanted to know that God was a personality, and all of Srila Prabhupada's books are about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that resonated with me, that God is a personality and that we have a relationship with him.
So you are carrying the surname Ford, and that is actually producing the curiosity in the mind of an Indian, that the Ford is basically the surname of one of the most iconic American families, Mr. Henry Ford, who has founded the Ford Motor Company.
Right.
How are you related to that family?
Henry Ford was my great grandfather, and my mother was his granddaughter. So both my parents were named Ford, but they were from two different Ford families. My father's family was bankers, and my mother's family were the automobile family. So Henry Ford actually, though, was very interested in Eastern spirituality. He was a vegetarian. He became a vegetarian. He believed strongly in reincarnation, and he studied just casually, Eastern spirituality. So it's not something that's totally out of the line of our family when someone takes an interest in this.
I would like to compare with some other persons very known to Indians and Bengalis. When Swami Vivekananda visited Chicago and then other parts of the America, then in Europe,
Yeah.
and when he came back, Sister Nivedita, Margaret Nivedita, came with him,
Yeah.
and Sister later got
Yeah.
a big role in spreading the spirituality and Vedic messages.
Yeah.
Even she worked a lot in Bengal as well.
Yeah.
Your story is almost like her, like when you met Srila Prabhupada in America. Then you decided to come along to India with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So what was your first experience reaching India?
I came to India for the first time in 1975, October. I met Srila Prabhupada in Nairobi, and then we flew to Bombay. And it was a culture shock to me because, I was brought up obviously in a lot of luxury and opulence. And so to come to India and to, live simply and India back in those days was not nearly as sophisticated as it is today. When you had an airline ticket on Air India, you had to confirm your ticket to get out of the country in person down at the Air India office downtown. So now everything is electronic and it's become much, much easier to get around. So it was a bit of a culture shock to me. This friend of mine took me to the Bengali spice market in Mumbai, like the first day I was there. And, it was a real eye-opener for me. And I got very sick, too. I got sick about a week after I was in India. I drank from the roadside because I was stupid. Yeah, I drank from the roadside some sugarcane juice, out of a very dirty-looking glass. And I was watching them make it, and they were grinding it, and flies were going, grinding away. So I was really naive and really stupid, So I got very, very sick. I had amoebic dysentery. So when I left India 2 months later, I was not enthusiastic to go back, and I didn't go back for several years. But then I was married, and I started going back and forth, and now I have a big project in Mayapur, so it's become like a second home to me.
I know that you are married to a Bengali lady.
Yes.
Was there any role of this, your attraction to spirituality or your dream regarding India and Bengal, which actually helped you to fall in her love?
Well, I think it was orchestrated by Krishna. She was looking for a husband. Her family were looking for someone for her to marry, and at the temple they were looking also. And so, it just so happened that I happened to be in Australia at the time. She was living in Australia. And she was a very accomplished young lady. She was not only a PhD, but she was studying to be a doctor. And also she was one of the big stars of the temple in Sydney. She distributed a lot of books for them, so she was very, very qualified woman.
So you found some equal frequencies in her?
Yes, absolutely. And my parents loved her and were very impressed by her, the fact that she was a PhD. And so, it worked out fine.
So how was your life with her?
Good, yeah, very good. Because I was somewhat Indianized, and she was somewhat Westernized. So there was a meeting in the middle. Of course, not everything was the same. She loves Indian movies. I don't, So there's certain things, cultural things that are not going to mesh.
So let us come back to
Yes.
some other topics. Like
Yeah.
you have made so many things for this movement we call ISKCON. Some big structures we have already found made in Mayapur and other parts of the country.
Yes.
Even in other big cities, I know you help them a lot to to make big temples out there. So, another big Vedic temple construction is ongoing in Mayapur. How much time will it take to get the final shape?
I think we're aiming to have the opening, to have the deities moved in 2022. That's the objective for us, is to have the deities moved in 2022. So another 5-6 years. The construction has been going along really rapidly, and we've been getting a lot of support from around the world, from different people and different congregations. So we're just going to keep going along. Our plan is to get the basic temple finished by 2022, move the deities in. The finishing can take a while longer, but that's the plan.
So this big thing is going to get shape in Mayapur.
Yes.
So many things in other parts of the country and other parts of the world as well.
Yes.
But almost all you have helped or funded to make temples and this kind of spiritual structures. Do you have any plan to get involved in some other kind of things in this country?
Well, it really kind of depends on how long it takes to finish this temple. I mean, it's a huge temple.
Your main focus is that temple?
Yes, yes, because it's so big, and they really need a lot of support, and they need a spokesman. And Srila Prabhupada asked me personally to be involved in funding the temple. So I'm 67. I don't know how much longer I have, but I have a feeling that I'll want to retire, not really retire, but to kind of, maybe go somewhere quiet to study books and chant Hare Krishna.
I wish you may have retired, but you are never tired.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But there's so many things that I'd like to do. Srila Prabhupada also asked me to get involved in a temple in Kurukshetra. We went there with him in 1975. He wanted a temple, and right in the place where Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Wanted a temple there and a university. So there's so many things that he asked us to do. So I would never be bored if I had, another life to live. So
another important aspect of spreading these messages throughout the young generation and the generation of this age. It is, do you think, enough to make big temples to aware them about these messages, or how this kind of teaching can help you live a good life?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the big temples are important because they attract people. They especially attract Westerners. And Srila Prabhupada's name and fame came from preaching to the Westerners. And he came to New York in 1965, and he made hundreds and hundreds of disciples, and now his disciples are making disciples all over the world, especially in Russia, etc. So it's important that people hear this message. This is not a religion. It's a spiritual science, and it can be relevant to anybody. Anybody should know that they're a part of God, a small spiritual spark. You don't accept that there's a supreme personality and that, you have to live according to his rules, and there are rules. But as long as they're slaughtering the cow and as long as they're eating meat, there won't be peace. So it's very difficult. So we just want to get the message out. That's all. But we're non-sectarian.
It's very nice to listen to these words from you, sir. But the kids who are growing in this environment, with this culture, with these traditions in their life from childhood, how will you think they bring the message of Krishna's in future? Because you will hand over the baton to them. Yeah.
Well, that's true, but people have to understand that they're not these material bodies. These material bodies, they're temporary. You may be Indian, I may be American for several years or whatever, but that's not, fundamentally who we are. We're spiritual entities. So the truth that's in the Bhagavad Gita, that can be spoken, because it comes from Krishna's own words, can be spoken by anybody. It doesn't matter how old they are, how young they are. It doesn't make any difference. We have preachers in the U.S. who are like, 22, 23, and yet they're holding Bhagavad Sapta, and it's very encouraging to see that. But people have to accept, if people come to spiritual life to think, let me use this to make my material life better, it'll never work. God is not such a fool, so he wants us to, become liberated, to detach ourselves from this life, because we're not meant to come back over and over again.
How do you see the future time? Because you were born in such a family, in so much of wealth, and you have spent so much of money in this Krishna consciousness, and you are very happy. You're looking very happy. People ultimately want to be happy, but they are choosing wrong ways.
Yes, that's true.
So how do you see the future?
Well, I think more and more people are realizing that to try to satisfy themselves and become happy materially is ultimately very frustrating. But we can all learn our spiritual identity, and just by people accepting that we're eternal, that we're parts and parcels of God, and that we're eternal, we're not these bodies. There is no death, there's just change of bodies, and that we can take on spiritual bodies if we practice, within this lifetime. Then they can become happy. You'll see that devotees in all the temples around the world are very happy, because they feel like they're spending their time very usefully. Whereas, otherwise, the people that are working 24/7, and they may be making a lot of money, but then they go to spend it and it's not very satisfying. So
what's your plan? You are at the age of 67 right now, so
Yeah.
many years ahead, and you are very, very, very fit. So what's your future plan?
Well, my future plan is to get this temple in Mayapur open.
That is okay. That is primary object.
Yes,
And so personal life is concerned.
Personal life, that's personal life also.